you have Jeff as Bezos as your investor. At what point did you decide to seek funding? And then tell us a little bit about that part of the story.
Yeah, and just to be very clear, Jeff, so we've never taken any venture capital money or anything like that. Jeff bought a small piece of the company from David and I. So the money that Jeff paid went to David and I. So it didn't go to the business. And the reason, so we've always been 100% funded through customer revenues, and we always will be. That is we're basically as bootstrapped as it gets, except we have a small minority owner as well. The reason we did this in 2006, and we'd been approached by, it must have been close to 100 different VC firms and private equity firms and angel investors and other private investors at the time. And we just didn't need their money, didn't want their money. It wasn't interesting to us. We didn't need it. We had a great thriving business that didn't want other people's money. I didn't want the costs that come along with getting money, which is not something people talk about a lot. People think money cost? No, like they're giving you money. There's actually huge costs. And one of the costs is culture. People who invest in you want you to grow quickly. We didn't want to grow quickly. We wanted to grow steadily, carefully, thoughtfully, like a tree. It sounds weird, but like trees don't shoot up. They grow slowly and strong over time. So that's kind of how we want to grow our company. We didn't want to sell our company. So when you raise money, at some point, investors need their money back. And so usually that's a 3 to 5 or 5 to 7 year time frame. Might be an IPO, might be an acquisition. We don't want to do that. We want to be in business for 30, 40, 50 years. We can, right? So most of the money that we were offered came with the strings that we didn't want to hold. Jeff was different. Jeff's a very long-term guy. We're actually an LLC is our corporate structure. So Jeff is a member, which means he gets distributions at the end of every year with profits that are left over. So he's getting paid every year, just like we are. And so that's a great fit for him. And he gets to participate in the upside down the road. If there ever is something, he's made his money back and more on the investment already, even though we haven't had to sell the company or anything like that. The reason we did it though, was because, and Jeff came to us, he'd seen one of his companies he funded used Basecamp, another one, actually 2 or 3 of them used Basecamp at the time. He saw me speak at this conference in 2005 in San Diego and liked what I had to say. And so we caught up. And the reason we did it in 2006 is getting back to something I said earlier, which was David and I didn't know if this would be a fluke or not. Like, what if Basecamp fizzled out in 2007 or 2008? Like, could we take a little bit of risk off the table?
Right.
Put some money in our personal accounts. That money would not necessarily pay for the rest of our lives. It wasn't that kind of money, but it was good money, certainly good money. You know, could we take a little bit of risk off the table just in case? And I'm a big fan of that. I'm a big fan of cutting your risk back a little bit from time to time. A lot of entrepreneurs love to go mega risk. I'm not a mega risk taker. I'm a calculated risk taker. And I think part of that is taking some profit off the table from time to time. I think that's very valuable. Whether you're investing in the stock market, you're investing in anything, selling something, you don't have any profit until that profit's in your pocket. Before that, it's paper profit, and that can go away really quickly. So anyway, that's why we did. That's a long answer, but hopefully that gives people some insight to that. And by the way, the reason we did it with Jeff and not anyone else is because Jeff is sort of a personal hero of ours in terms of an entrepreneur who's very innovative and very interesting thinker and an original thinker and someone who has a very long-term view on things and we wanted someone like that in our corner versus someone whose only goal was to get an investment out of it. So that's why we did that.
That's great.
Yeah.